Greetings, welcome, Grand Rising Consciousness. Hi, I'm Reverend Rodney Gittens, and welcome again to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. So glad that you can be here with us, and we are going to just start off this celebration as we usually do with our opening song, Choosing Heaven Today. I'm choosing heaven. We have a wonderful, wonderful conversation for you today. We're talking about honor your boundaries. And also, we have a wonderful guest, Reverend Cindy Grimes from Ocala, Florida. And we also have a surprise to many of you, most of you, that we have a new practitioner. Yay! All right. And she will be with us today and praying us in and joining us in conversation. However, first, let's start with our opening song, Choosing Heaven. And please remember to type in what you're choosing for today, for your life and the life of all, because why? We're all one. What you choose for yourself, you're choosing for all. So make it good, make it love, make it peace, and make it now. Choosing Heaven. Choosing heaven, yes. What a wonderful way to start the day, to start your life. Each and every moment we can make a choice. And so our choice here at One Love Center for Spiritual Living is We're on a mission. We choose this. We have been chosen for as well to be on a mission to provide a stable and welcoming community for all who choose to learn, practice, grow, and play in the unfolding of their understanding of spiritual principles and spiritual living. We envision a world as an environment, a sacred environment, where spiritual living flourishes through the continual growth and the development of learning and the application of spiritual principles. So, One Love Center practices compassion and service, love in action, and joyous, prosperous giving in the community. Also, our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred and healing service, musical celebration, classes, workshop, and spiritual film. So we welcome everyone. We welcome our first-time guests, those who have been coming with us for a while, and we welcome you in a special way. And so right where our practitioners are, right where everyone is, please be open and receptive in knowing that we recognize the splendor of the infinite divine spirit that is you. Please know that we support you in being the best you choose to be in this glorious life. And we thank you for celebrating spirit with us today. Welcome to a place where love grows. Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. And please feel free to share this welcome, to share this video, to share One Love Center with family, friends, strangers, whomever. So it's my great pleasure to share with you someone that you may have seen before. However, she's not the same. She is a newly licensed religious science practitioner. And her name is Lita Perez, and she's going to pray us in. She's going to lead us in our opening prayers and evocation, evoking the word of the divine from within. Welcome and congratulations, Lita Perez.
Thank you so much. I am honored to serve. I am so excited about this. So thank you for your guidance, especially your guidance in helping me get to that place. And everyone who's here has helped me through that journey. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is our evocation, and we do this before our services. So let's take a deep breath in. I invite you to turn within and settle into this sacred space, space where spirit meets us. And so we come together today as one, with One Love Center, as one love, one light, and one presence. In this moment, we open our hearts and to the divine truth, knowing that boundaries are not our barriers, that they are actually bridges, and that they balance us, they bring us peace and self-honoring. We honor the wholeness by knowing where we begin and where we lovingly choose to draw the line. And as this service unfolds, I know that we will feel safe. We do feel safe. I am safe. You are safe. We're all supported. And may these words uplift you. May our music inspire you. And may our message awaken you to a deeper honoring of knowing God and honoring your boundaries. Take a deep breath, knowing that Spirit has your way in us today. Let this service be a blessing to all who gather, both near and far, live and in the recording. I know this to be so. This is so, and so it is.
Thank you. We are prayed up and prayed in. Thank you, Lita Perez, religious science practitioner. Woo-woo. All right. Yeah, so what you have just encountered is prayer, and we like to call it affirmative prayer. We are affirming the truth in our minds, knowing the very truth about whatever situation is occurring. And we are prayer professionals, ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power. Well, Spirit is the power, charged and already always within you for your immediate use. And for whatever reason, if you're not aware of that or forget that, you can contact us. Your prayer requests are kept in the strictest of confidence. You can send us a prayer request right now by email, and it is one love at onelovecenter.org. And please remember that there's no fee or charge for prayer requests. Your prayer will be we will pray on it, whatever that situation or condition is, for 7 days. My request is that you let us know when your prayer has been answered. And if it hasn't, we'll continue to know the truth about that situation for another 7 days. Also, let us know when the prayer has been answered so we don't have to pray on it anymore. All right. And so use us. That's what we're here for. First and foremost, we are praying people. We like to treat our minds to the truth and know that it includes each and every one of you. So it is my great pleasure to introduce one of my colleagues from ministerial school, and she's been with us a long time ago, and she's back with us again. And we like to share in this spiritual world of ideas and practice. And that's Reverend Cindy Grimes, the spiritual director in Center for Spiritual Living in Ocala, Florida. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rodney, for inviting me. And just congratulations to Lita for passing that practitioner license. Like I told you already, you've been a practitioner for years. This was just a formality so you can know, and so everybody else can know the truth of who you are and what you bring to the world. So
Thank you
I'm
so
just honored to be part of that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. And as so many of things in the spiritual world work, I've actually met Lita Perez at in Ocala, and as it works out, Lita started doing a lot of service with us at One Love Center, and because of the medium that made it available to happen, she volunteered and continued in her studies. And she's now a religious science practitioner. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Right. Yes. So, it's an interesting topic that we have today for everyone. It's called Honor Your Boundaries. And it's very interesting how it's a topic because many of us don't not only honor our boundaries, many of us do not even have set boundaries that we're aware of. So I think it's really important to have this conversation. And anyone listening, please feel free to enter your comments, whether you agree, disagree, or support, or whatever comes up. If you have questions, please feel free to join in. And thank you for putting that up. So basically, this month we're talking about like being in the flow and rolling in the deep, which means we're going to get a little deep. However, it really has to do overall with freedom. The month of July is synonymous with the July 4th, Independence Day in this country. And many of us, especially now, are not feeling very free and very even safe in our own boundaries. So anyway, I want to just bring up this for a conversation about honoring your boundary and what that means for us individually, and how it might mean for us as a society collectively. All right, so I would say, does anybody want to comment on honoring your boundaries?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Because I think, like you said, I am one of those people who have had trouble with boundaries. Knowing where to set them appropriately, what's an appropriate boundary, what's not. And I just think it's so interesting, this idea of freedom and boundaries and how those things actually go together, even though on the surface it seems like it doesn't. Right? Because if you're putting boundaries on something, you're keeping some things in, you're keeping some things out. Where's the freedom in that? Right? It seems like, is there a paradox there? And I would say that there is, right? That there has to be boundaries in order for there to be freedom, real freedom. Otherwise, we have essentially chaos.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some kind of foundational things to say that these things are safe. This is our parameters of where we play, of what we do, and that allows us to be freer in our expression, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so weird because as you were speaking, I had the image of a playground. I heard the word play, and you think most playgrounds, they're fenced, and a lot of that is to keep kids from just running all over the place. But well, here in New York, it's like it's to keep certain people out as well. So
Sure.
so that does make for a safe place. Yeah.
Exactly. We have safety in our homes, right? Because
Yeah.
you have a door, you have windows, you have things. Not everybody comes in your house because that would have it not feel safe.
Yeah.
So you get to be free in expressing yourself in your home because of the boundaries that are set that allow you to feel safe in that space.
All right. Absolutely. All right. So, Lita, did you have any comment, or you want to put up the first quote, or both?
A little bit of both. And for me, it was when I heard boundaries, it didn't necessarily mean barriers.
Mhm.
Instead, what it is, you've set these boundaries and it's creating a bridge for what you allowed to come in and what you step forward into. So,
All right.
but here's our first quote.
Yeah. Why don't you start that off, please?
Saying no to one thing is saying yes to the possibility of another. And this is Ellen Rocher, 12 Tiny Things, Simple Ways to Live a More Intentional Life.
That reminds me of what you just said,
Right.
what we've been already mentioning. Saying no to that which is undesirable is saying yes to the possibility of something that is more desirable. And most certainly, I think it's important that we have that awareness to say no to what doesn't feel safe, to that which to the possibility of even greater happiness and health and wellness, wholeness. All of that is really saying no to something that might even be poisonous or dangerous to us. So yeah, thank you for bringing that quote up. Did you want to remark on that, Cindy? Or
Yeah. Actually, I want to say that it even goes beyond safety. Sometimes it helps to have boundaries in the creative process, even. Right? Like somebody hands you here's a piece of paper, write me a just write something for me, or painting, here's a blank canvas, paint something. And sometimes I get that analysis paralysis. If you're looking at the thing and there's so many possibilities that I don't even know where to start. But if somebody says, okay, here's a canvas, would you draw the tree of life, or would you paint the tree of life? Well, now I can bring all of that creativity into that particular project because of the boundaries or the guidelines that have been offered. So again, it's like that idea of not having any kind of boundaries. Yes, it's freedom, but it can also be chaotic versus somebody saying, okay, here are the parameters. Here's some parameters to start with, and then you can go in there and start creating and, drawing, painting, music, whatever. But you have, in getting a place to start from that makes it then easier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So not just about safety, it's about the bigger, creative process as well, and so many other things.
And I'm glad you mentioned that about the creative process, and a lot of times we do have to go within, and that seems to suggest that there is a boundary between out and in. That we have to allow ourselves moments to be still, moments to reflect, and to have meaningful analysis, not influenced by the outer, which happens a lot. Whether we're going in a closet or going out in the mountains or just going somewhere to create that place of stillness, so that we can be open and receptive to hear what we need to hear. Let's bring up that next quote.
Okay.
In the silence of the soul's communion with the great cause of all being, into the stillness of the absolute, into the secret place of the Most High, back of the din and the ceaseless roar of life, we shall find a resting place and a place of real spiritual power. That's Ernest Holmes, founder of Religious Science, Science of Mind and Spirit, in his book, Creative Mind and Success, page 77. And that's pretty much what we we're just mentioning. It's like how to remove ourselves into a safe place within, in our sacred place, our secret place, the real church, you know, the real place of communion with the one. I love that. Find a resting place and a place of our real spiritual power. And that's so important to recognize the importance of that ability that we all have. Anybody else want to comment on that?
So often, we find ourselves struggling to have that knowledge of the power that we truly do have. And that opportunity to stay still is where the place that we would find it. And I love what you just said. We shall find a resting place and a place of real spiritual power. And we all have that power, each and every one of us. And often we don't realize what that is. And until we can be still and hold that space, will we finally find that power that is within.
And so I guess that's a boundary sometimes that we have to create too.
Mhm.
I'd like to say that this is my private time. This is my quiet time. I go outside. I don't want to be bothered. I'm not going to have my phone with me, right? Or not have people interrupt me. Like I go to a separate space that is a boundaried place, right? It may not be physical walls, but it's boundaries within, your consciousness and your mind that says, I'm going to dive in this, in this realm, this time.
And I love it. Were you complete with that? Or
Yeah.
Rolling in the deep means we got to get a little deeper. And that ceaseless roar of life, sometimes happens within my own head. It's like sometimes it seems inescapable. The constant thoughts, the constant remembering, the constant noise that I can generate all by myself. My world, can be very busy in between my ears. So, sometimes I have to create an own boundary from that chatter, from that monkey mind. And that's where the meditation, that's where that stillness comes in. Even before we get to meditation, it's just being still. And listen, I could easily blame, the trucks going by, the noise outside, the noise in the house, whatever. And then I get to take responsibility for my own generated noise. And it's not easy to make that boundary within without any other outside influence. It's like, oh, okay. My responsibility to learn how to not pay attention to all that noise. And in fact, I'm creating a boundary from like the brain activity and the body activity between that and the mind, the real essence and truth of who we are. So anyway, does that make sense to anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So it just came up. I'm just like, okay, hey, that sounds cute.
But Rodney, I think we have to, number one, know that that's up to us to do it.
Yeah.
I think about my life as a, mom, grandma. There's all these things pulling on me all of the time, has been for years. And having had boundaries that were perhaps a little too porous, like I jump, somebody else needs me, I'm going to go take care of that. And I've been doing that for forever, taking care of other people. But there comes a time, and maybe it's vintaging, it's, Or the fact now I don't have kids in my house, I'm not in that active realm of raising a family, that I actually can take the time for myself and say, these are my boundaries, like this is, and it's important for me to do that, and I'm worth doing it. I don't
Yes.
have to jump every time somebody else needs me or wants me. Like my needs and my priorities for myself need to be on that list.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have not always lived that way. So that's kind of a new thing for me. In
All right.
But understanding the necessity and the importance of having boundaries for myself. That it is, and I think we have a quote about that too, about boundaries being an act of self-love.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that, Reverend Cindy, because that list, who's number one?
Right.
Who's number one on the list? For so long, I was not number one on my own list. You know, it's like
Isn't
it can be challenging, especially if it's a habit.
isn't it amazing how relationships teach you so much about your boundaries?
Hmm.
And that's what I have learned. And I love what you said, Cindy, about your relationship with your mother. And I've learned a lot about, how far I can be taken into a situation by the relationships that I had in my life and what I would accept for myself from how people treat you. But we learn the most by the relationships that we have, don't we?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, Lita, since you just mentioned that, it seems to really coincide with the next quote. So go for it.
All right. Love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how you use it. Oh, how'd it go away? You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. And this is by Anna Taylor, New Zealand author. That's just true. You teach other people how you want to be treated and what you won't accept. Such a true statement. You want to add to that, Reverend Cindy? You were just speaking.
Yeah, I think this is, just what I was saying, to realize that my needs are as important as anybody else's. I realized that late in life. Some people know it early on. I mean, I have a 6-year-old granddaughter who is very clear about her boundaries, and she's got no problem telling you about it. And I look at her and I wonder, was I like that at 6? And I think I was, because I can remember getting reeled in, like,
Right.
you're a little too full of yourself, young lady. But I don't want to do that to her. I don't want to see anybody do that to her. I want her to be able to keep her boundaries and her knowing of what's right for her and what she will and will not accept, and to always keep that, especially as a woman in this culture where, our boundaries tend to get kind of stepped on or pushed aside, like, it's not important, right?
Absolutely.
And we can take a lot of lessons from children. I mean, you think about the 2-year-olds, right? The so-called terrible twos, when they learn that deeply spiritual word, no.
No.
And everything is no. It could be the best thing for them. And they're like, no.
Yes.
Especially when we're teaching them, or we're doing our best to protect them and teach them, like, well, hey, this is good for you. Eat your vegetables or whatever it is. And the power of no is just so strong within them. So they're setting their boundaries, and they're also teaching people, how to treat them.
Right.
It's like a pet. If you don't teach your pet, certain boundaries, it will end up teaching you, what its boundaries are, and how, you have to coincide with them, and I mean, we do that as people. We're always teaching what our boundaries are, whether they are, helpful to us or not, because no was a difficult word for me to use for so long. It was like I did not have permission to say no to anybody or anything. So, I couldn't say I really had any boundaries, unless it was like some serious physical harm. Other than that, it was like anything goes. and that was something that was scary. and I was walking through life being very afraid of life and being very afraid to have an opinion of my own and be able to say no and stand up for it and honor it. It wasn't very easy at all. Uh, and so, thankfully, of course, I mean, I'm here, and I have learned to use the power of no in setting boundaries for myself. Uh, yeah, I mean,
But Ronnie, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just thinking about how we get programmed,
Mm,
right? And I know our backgrounds and stuff, yours, mine, Lita too. I think you grow up in a home. I grew up in a home that was very repressive, I'll say. Like there was only one person that got angry, and it wasn't me. There was one person who set the rules, and those rules were imposed, and there were strict,
mm,
sometimes violent consequences for breaking those rules. And that will make you shrink in,
Even
you
more.
know,
More so.
even more, right? And
yeah,
so you get to a point where you feel like you don't even have the right to say what's so for you because of this power that's been held over you, this punitive thing that's been happening. So it's just interesting how too strict of boundaries sometimes can create people that can't make boundaries for themselves.
mm,
If I'm making sense, right? Again, it's that paradox thing.
Right.
If somebody else is continually putting their power over you, their thumb on you, or
Mm.
restricting you, then you have trouble. A person can have trouble setting their own boundaries or
mhm.
being able to break out, and knowing what is theirs,
Yeah.
Right.
not living by somebody else's rules,
Hmm.
right?
Wow. Yeah.
Powerful.
It's like there's two boundaries. There's a real tight boundary on me that keeps me from expressing myself in healthy ways, and then there's the boundary to everybody else that comes so close to me that it's like that I can't permeate.
Right.
I can't come out. I can't be who I am, and
Right.
it's kind of like a gate that only goes one way.
This the sweet spot, right? Like
Yeah.
you can have boundaries that are super strict, don't let anything in or out. You can have boundaries that are way too porous, where everything comes in, and like there's got to be that place where it's just right.
Yeah.
In the middle.
And I think the individual themselves is the only one who can say what that is for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't, and it's going to take some, it can very well take some pain.
Mm.
It's like until we realize, like, oh, wait a minute, this can't happen anymore. Uh, and most of the time, as Lita was mentioning, it takes relationships for us to learn how we relate in relationships
Mhm.
is is
Mhm.
is important. Uh, it's usually and I quote this probably too many times from the great Popeye the Sailor, the sage Popeye the Sailor. Uh, he says, "That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more." You know, that's it. You're tired of getting beat up by Bluto, whatever his name is. And things aren't working out, and he's had enough. And sometimes that's what it takes. For us to begin to establish what's a good boundary for us.
When you realize just how much you are enough, you don't take any more of that, right?
If anybody else is enough,
And I've had enough of that. I am enough.
or I've had enough of you,
Uh-huh.
because now I get to express more than enough of who I am for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we have another quote here, Reverend Cindy. Would you like to read this one?
Sure. One of my favorite authors, Brene
Yes.
Brown.
Mhm.
And I've learned a lot about boundaries from her, so I'm really glad this one's here. When we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. This is why we sometimes attack who they are, which is far more hurtful than addressing a behavior or a choice.
Mm.
So, that's the point of self-awareness, right?
Mm.
Is am I feeling used or mistreated? And is that on that person, or is that on me for allowing it? You know, we don't have control over other people and what they do. We only have control over ourselves.
Mhm.
So if I'm feeling then used or mistreated, I need to look and see, have I, number one, do I have the boundary? Well, obviously I have it because I'm feeling some kind of way,
Right.
but maybe I need to know what that boundary is so that I can speak it clearly and know it for myself and express it to somebody else so then they can know what it is. And then if you have if you express the boundary clearly, say this is acceptable or this is not acceptable, and then the person continues doing whatever the behavior is, then you have a choice to make, right? Do I want to stay in this relationship? Am I going to continue this or am I not? Because they're not respecting my boundary. But now if you haven't said anything to them about it, how are they supposed to know?
Right. Exactly.
So, but that's the point, is if you're feeling ever used or mistreated, to do some self-reflection and say, you know, do I know what that boundary is? Have I expressed it clearly? And are they just not respecting me?
Mm.
Or do they not know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
And that,
important that oh, go ahead, Lita.
no, I'm saying that that's just kind, you know,
Yeah.
that's being kind to them as well. Because if people don't know that they have overstepped, they're going to keep doing it
Right.
and keep, you know, you're going to keep getting aggravated. So,
Absolutely. And it is up to us. That's our responsibility. Uh, and it's much easier to blame. It's much easier to point fingers. And it's much easier to take it out on our own selves. I know, you know, I used to blame myself all the time for why the people don't respect me. I didn't know that I didn't have proper boundaries. I just didn't know. And I mean, that went along. There's other things that go along with that. Self-respect, you know, as we talked earlier, self-love, you know, honoring ourselves is on, you know, is to create boundaries to protect ourselves and to protect others, especially from like when if I get angry at people and they don't know why are you so angry? You know, you allow this. This is who you are. This is what you do. You know, and then my anger and resentment is from not taking care of myself, because people do what they do, you know, and they'll go as far as you. What was it? Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So, you know, that's up to us individually to manage, you know, to take a look at why are these feelings and emotions happening. And it takes work, and most of the time we can't do this alone. That's why it helps to use a practitioner, as or you know, ministers. We are also practitioners, you know, to help one another, to help folks to be able to see themselves in a different light, rather than as a victim, you know, a victim of our own doing. Like, hey, you know, what am I going to do with this anger, with this hurt that I feel? You know, we can help people to live through that, to work through that. And we have another quote. I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it speaks to that. It says a theology of anger can help us to construct healthy boundaries. The healthy expression of righteous anger can translate communal despair into compassionate action and justice seeking. Barbara Holmes, spiritual teacher, activist, and writer. And I like that, because I would, as Reverend Cindy was talking about earlier, I, I was never allowed to be angry. You know, what are you angry about? You know, well, there's a whole lot that went along with that. However, which would make me be even more angry, but I couldn't express it. I didn't have a healthy way of expressing anger. I was always afraid of that it would be so bottled up that I would lash out in anger and actually hurt people who didn't know why I was so angry. Maybe some didn't care. I don't know. However, when I finally learned that I can have a healthy expression of anger, then I was able to set healthy boundaries, take responsibility for not just letting people know I'm angry. They still didn't tell them where my boundary was. Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah. This is, I love to teach about this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
emotional self-regulation. One of my ministries is in peace building.
Yes.
And I think, people think peace, it's automatically between nations or relationships or whatever. But I think the most important place to find peace first is in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't feel peaceful when we have these strong emotions, when you're in fear, when you're angry, those kinds of things that get you churned up inside.
Mm-hmm.
But human beings, it's part of the human journey. We have these feelings, they're there for a reason, these emotions. And I think, like I was saying myself, I was not allowed to be angry as a child. Doesn't mean I wasn't angry.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean that I didn't have it. It just meant that I was not allowed to express it.
Right.
I could do, in anger and sadness, they go together so often. You find in relationships, well, in like my parents' relationship, one did all of the anger, one did all the sadness.
Mm-hmm.
There was balance in the relationship, maybe, but not in the individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took after my mother and did all of this. I could do sadness all day. You're crying. I'm here. I feel you. I got that. Anger is a different situation for me. I'm still not comfortable being around anger. But there had to be a point where I could even allow myself to recognize the fact that I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because, nice girls, good girls
Get angry.
don't get angry, right? We don't do that. So even for some people, that's the first step, is just to acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I do get pissed off.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's in here, and I and
Mm-hmm.
I and I have a right to express it, but we want to express it in ways that are constructive
Mhm.
and not, either exploding or imploding,
Mm-hmm.
because that causes a lot of damage. So we find appropriate ways to channel that anger and let it move us into action that's going to make things better.
Mm.
So I think that a lot, well, I don't know, what I notice of people who come on the spiritual path, it's like, oh, I don't get angry, I don't get afraid, I don't this or that, and you're full of it. Full of it. If you're a human being, you're feeling all of this stuff. It doesn't mean you gotta, camp out and sit in it for days or weeks or months or years like people do. But we can't selectively numb. Can't say I'm going to just feel my anger, or I'm okay with feeling sadness but not the other. You can't pick and choose like that. You have to be able to allow it all to flow, because emotion is energy in motion.
Yes.
And when it's not flowing, it gets stuck and it causes dis-ease
Yes.
in the system.
Absolutely.
So
Beautiful.
that's what I find most people need to get, like, we are emotionally constipated.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
get it flowing,
Yeah.
however that is, whether you're going out and taking a run, going to the gym, hitting a bag, painting, drawing, singing, whatever that thing is, to get the emotion out of get it flowing so you can then direct it in the way that you choose and use it, not get used by it.
Woo.
Ah,
Awesome.
girl.
Yes, indeed. And Reverend Cindy, thank you for that, because I was going to say almost the exact same thing. However, one thing that you left out was the first thing that I was exposed to help me with that pent up anger. It's called the primal scream. I remember
Mm.
when I was at some kind of spiritual retreat or something, self help kind of program thing, and we're way out in the woods, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to do a primal scream, and it was so difficult for me to do it in the beginning, but when I saw other people doing it, and I allowed myself to release it and let go, and the flood of memories and all that stuff, whether it was, done to me or done to myself, or, I did it to myself, it doesn't matter. I let it go. And that really began the process of me being able to know that I can, not that I don't have to hold it in. Yeah, and that made a big difference, and help me be on the path, more on the path of at least acknowledging the anger,
Mhm.
and then being starting to be responsible for the anger, and then like what are the solutions?
Right.
And I think that happens. I mean, we hear it all the time with war and conflict.
Mm.
It's like
I was just going to bring that
they're
up.
not talking about a solution,
Mm-hmm.
unless there's a holiday and then they'll have a ceasefire, and
Right.
oh, okay, let's go back to being angry again. It's like,
Mhm.
well, what about the solution of where it comes from in the first place?
I have something to say about that too. As far as you mentioned war and conflict and all, the temperature of this country right now, and people so divided. It was so much that my children, one of my children, was just so angry about it and just started writing about it. And can you believe what's going on? And it got to a point that I was watching everything and reading everything, and I had to set a boundary because it was not serving me. It was only making me more angry. And as far as finding the solution for what's the temperature of this state that we're in, the solution was for me to step back for a bit and make that a boundary. I can't keep watching all that angst because I don't have the tool to make that better, but I can protect myself and set a boundary and say, okay, I understand this is going on. And that's not it, trying to be ignorant or not being understanding of the conflicts that are going on, but instead understanding that by taking a step back for myself so I can calmly react to what that is in a different manner that is not invading me as well. Constant invasion of my mind and my spirit. So I can look back at it and say, just get into prayer is what I end up doing, getting into prayer for myself and for all, that this too can be healed. So I just wanted to share that part.
Well, thank you. Now, there's more proof of why you're a practitioner.
You know, Rodney, I don't know if it's in this presentation or maybe it's just in your signature line in your email, is the quote from Viktor Frankl that says between stimulus and response, right? Between what happens and what you do about it, there's a space.
Yeah.
And in that space is our power to choose our response.
Mm-hmm.
And in that response is our freedom and our power. The thing is, most people are coming from reaction mode. The thing happens and you react.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Instead, what we do, and we know spiritual practice, the thing happens, take a breath. Right. Let me step back for a minute. Sometimes the breath, sometimes it's just a breath. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to take a little more time in between what happened and what I do about it. Could be minutes, hours, could be days, because I want to respond and not react.
Yeah.
So that, like, the emotional self-mastery that it takes to not just jump out at somebody when something happens, which is what we're seeing all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people feel now permission to be able to act in any kind of way.
Dive into this Sunday.
So that wasn't me. I don't know what that was.
That was me. That's okay.
But taking the time to pause, I think, is so important, both internally and also in terms of our relationships and how we respond to the things that are happening to us. Like you said, Lita, I've had to also stop myself because I can go down a rabbit hole very quickly.
Absolutely.
And, fall into depression and despair and like all of that stuff, and just realize, okay, yes, this thing happened. I am feeling some kind of way, a particular emotion about this. And that's because I'm human, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to move.
Quote by Rumi called out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there.
Absolutely. And and thank you for bringing that up, Lita, and thank you for that, Reverend Cindy. And so what we're actually bringing this all into is the solution. Yes, it's going within. And when you think about why are we going within, why am I there? Aren't I there all the time? You know, a lot of times I know for myself, I can say I'm operating out of a sense of separation from that which has created me, out of the peace, the love, the joy, you know, the happiness, the compassion, and all of that I have for myself and for all, into a feeling of there's me and everything else. And I can be defensive or offensive, you know. You know, I've to feel the need to protect myself, and not remembering or realizing that it's all one, it's all God, that everywhere I am, the presence of the divine is, the creator has made everything out of itself. So therefore, everything I encounter is of the one, is of the creator. And, and I believe that that's what we mean by being still, is reconnecting with that sense of oneness. So, and remembering that who I am, or whose I am, who I am, that I am of the spirit, I am of that which created me. And since I'm that of which I am, that I am, which has created me, I am that. So therefore, in reality, there's nothing to hurt or, you know, within me. That is the truth of who I am. And moments of separate, yes, there's a physical, you know, sticks and stones might break my bones, but words can never hurt me. The concept, the ideas can never really truly hurt me. And so, actually, the next quote reminds me of that. The last quote. It says, "On that day, you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you." That's from John 14, 20th chapter, 14th chapter, 20th verse. And really, that to me means on that day, you will know, on that day of understanding, realization of whatever that we go through that brings us back to realization, to know that I and my Father are one. I and my mother, Father, God are one. That I am from that which has created me. And I think that's what it's all about, is getting back to that beginning of yes, you know, there are healthy boundaries. I mean, our skin is a boundary. You know, it's that which is natural and normal, without us having to remember it. I mean, not that we take it for granted. However, it's here for a reason, and it was made that way. There are natural barriers in the physical world, in nature, and they're to be respected. And so when we're acting out of a sense of separation, where we're not respecting ourselves or anybody else or nature or whatever, you know, then we have to get back to honoring our boundaries. Anybody want to make any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to, reminding people that we're spiritual beings
Yes.
that are having a human experience. And the human experience, the human being in us is the part that gets into the emotional stuff, right? We feel the anger as human beings. It's part of our inner guidance system, if you want to call it. Your inner GPS is your emotions for the human journey. Right. So it's true that the spiritual part of you can't get hurt, but the human part sure can.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to say, again, these are my boundaries. Yes, this is acceptable for me. This is not. I think we need those as a human race too. What are we allowing? What is okay for us as human beings? What is okay for us as Americans, and what is not?
Right.
I think we need to get really clear about that, as well as how we then hold ourselves and others accountable. But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. And I hope we get to make it soon, because it is important that we honor each other's boundaries, which is important, as you mentioned, because really we're all one, and we're all and what that means, it sounds like a cliche, but it means that yes, we're all spiritual beings. We're in the individualized expressions as human beings, but we all get to honor our own boundaries and each other's boundaries.
All right.
So we have some affirmations that I would invite the two of you to do,
Mm,
to take on, and I will be in the background.
okay. All right. Reverend Cindy, the way that we do it here at One Love is that you take a breath, you read the affirmation, and then you take another breath and you read it a second time. So I'll let you start and end it.
So we take that nice deep breath and say, it is so that I get to achieve being authentic and choose to truly be my real self. And another breath. And do you say it this time or do I say it again?
You say
I'll
it.
say it again. It is so that I get to achieve being authentic and choose to truly be my real self.
It is so that I create and maintain. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take a breath. See how I'm rushing through this? Let's take a breath. It is so that I create and maintain generative boundaries. Mm. Let's take another deep breath. It is so that I create and maintain generative boundaries.
Another breath. It is so that I surrender to the demands of my highest dream for myself and for others.
Mm.
And again, it is so that I surrender to the demands of my highest dream for myself and for others.
And so it is, and now it is. Mm. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for affirming these wonderful, these life affirming affirmations, these boundary affirming affirmations. So I'm going to invite you all back in just a moment and have a grounding affirmative prayer. It's just going to bring it all home. So please join me going within to that high secret place deep within. And just knowing that right where I am, the I am presence, the divine is there before the recognition that I am. And now speaking from the union of the I am and that which has created me, meaning there's only one. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is whole, perfect, and complete, and most certainly my life now. And I am speaking about this one life in which there are natural boundaries that show up for our greater good, for the greater good of each and every one. The greater good that says that there is safety, that there is peace and harmony with boundaries, that the skin is a boundary from that which would affect what's on the other side of the skin, that there is a physical boundary between the ocean and the shore and the land, between the sky and the water, and that there are natural boundaries in our lives, in our relationships, that allow each one to respect themselves and to respect others. And this is just how it really gets to work. How we have to foster, we get to experience greater opportunities for peace to flow freely, greater opportunities for family and friends to live in harmony with one another, with nations to live in harmony with one another. That boundaries are respected and honored in all of the ways that matter most to everyone. There are healthy boundaries, boundaries for our health. There are boundaries in ways that allow us to be all that we can be, to say yes to that which allows us and propels us and supports us in being about our Mother, Father, God's business. Like that which says yes to being on purpose, to being in a divine and welcoming way to learn and to grow and to play with ourselves and each other. So I give thanks for all that has been conversed about and that which will come up later for each and every one, knowing that yes, yeah, honoring our boundaries is a healthy thing to do for ourselves and each other. And so I know that these words are already flowing and landing and hitting their mark and awakening people to their greater selves, the expression of their greater selves in helpful and not harmful and hurtful ways, in helpful ways. And so I release this word knowing that these words spoken into the law of divine right action are already being fulfilled right here, right now, and continuing in every now moment. And so I let it be the good that it is and say that it is so and affirm it by saying, and so it is, and now it is. And right on. Yes. So I would now invite Lita Perez, our new practitioner, to talk more about the power of prayer.
Oh, wonderful. The power of prayer. You just heard it. It's about affirming what we already know is truth. So, One Love Center has professional prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power, charged and already within you for your immediate use. We are here for you. So all you have to do is reach us at onelovecenter.org, and we will pray for you. We will pray for 7 days, and let us know if the prayer has come to fruition. We'd love to hear from you. Just email us, and we'll also let us know if it hasn't. We'll continue to pray for you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to talk about our gratitude. We are grateful for your donations here at One Love Center for Spiritual Living. We thank you for your donations, for your tithe, for your gift, for your offering in the form of money, most certainly. However, in all of the ways that matter, we give thanks and we are grateful. So please continue. And you can send in your donation to PayPal. Go to our website, onelovecenter.org, or do the Cash Me app at $OneLoveCSL. We have affirmation of abundance, and please join us in that because we know the power of affirmations. And we recite to assist us in opening up to receive and to give. And it says, money as one of many gifts of spirit is good. And as I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to receive more gift, more money, and more good. And that I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good work these gifts do in our center and in our world. And now it is. Right now, even now, we have some announcements that we are requesting a member or a friend of a member or anyone who feels so inspired to assist us in managing our broadcast. And you can most certainly contact us through our email, onelove at onelovecenter.org, to be of service. Bless you and thank you. Also, We invite you to join us in a couple of days. The Convention of the Americas at Chapala, Mexico, July 22nd to 26th. Please connect with Ellen Suazo. Although there is no longer a payment plan, you can reach out to her by email for more information. And that is at COTALAS Americas at gmail.com. You can also go to Facebook and look up Convention of the Americas 2025 for more information as well. And we have Beyond Limits. Most likely this fall, we'll be looking to start up a class, move into living beyond your limiting beliefs by registering for our class, Beyond Limits. And you can go to our website and email your inquiry, your interest to us. And if you don't think you have any limiting beliefs, then that class could very well be for you. All right. Also, there's visioning, which is definitely a very important part of our organization and the way in which our decisions are made. However, this you can use for your own personal experience. Is Summer Soul Visioning Retreat, Friday, August 22nd to Sunday the 24th, 3 sessions a day for 3 days. Start anytime, attend as many sessions as you like, and donate whatever you would like. It is really, it's tax deductible, and we're gathering to nourish our souls and revitalize our vision. They say you need to have a vision for life, or, we would perish, so it's really important to, and you can use it to set boundaries as well. So at this point, we're going to invite back Reverend Cindy and our newly licensed practitioner, Lita Perez, or I mean newly as in from yesterday. Blessings to you. Yay.
So much.
And so any final thoughts, remarks?
Just thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for lovely conversation. And it's just always great to see the two of you, especially our new practitioner, Lita.
Thank you. It was great to be here today. Thank you for inviting me to be at the forefront this time. So I enjoy it, and I enjoy being your techie too in the background. So it was a great service to be of service for you today.
I want to thank Ellen Suazo, the practitioner who is watching from behind and contributing some comments. Also, we had Alita Wilkins. And fortunately, I'm not able to see everyone else. Sylvia Nebsa. Oh, wow. Awesome. Thank you for joining. And again, there may be others who I can't tell right now. But thank you all for attending and watching and for sharing this. Share on Facebook or YouTube. Just let folks know what you are up to in watching and learning and educating yourself today, especially about honoring your boundaries. I'm going to start with our closing prayer. We do have a wonderful song at the end, which is in alignment, of course. And where'd Lita go? Come on. Okay, so I'll start it off, and I'll let Cindy finish it. Okay, all right. So just knowing what a wonderful time it is in God, in the mind of God, in which there's only one. We all are of the one, and oh, what a wonderful time, and what a wonderful discussion and conversation, in which lives are changed forever. Because I know that this has fallen into some wonderful arms, a wonderful heart, wonderful mind that is assisting someone somewhere who's going to turn around and assist somebody else. I give thanks for knowing that as we go forth this week, that there is freedom happening. And I pass my word to Lita.
I'm just grateful for these. Ooh, me or Lita?
Lita.
And I'm so grateful for these great minds that are here today, for all that have joined us in this wonderful opportunity to learn about boundaries and barriers and bridges and what really is important in their lives today and always. I'm grateful for Reverend Cindy and Reverend Rodney for their inspiration. And I pass to Reverend Cindy.
Well, I am grateful for laughter and joy and for these good people, these beautiful people that spoke here today, and for everyone that was listening, for knowing that each one of us are the eyes and ears and mind and heart and hands and feet of spirit itself. And
Mm.
it just warms my heart to know that each one of us is in this world doing the work that we are here to do, being the joy, being the love that we came here to be. And so I just affirm peace, joy, well-being for each and every one, and gratitude, and releasing these words with joy, knowing that all of this is already done and so much more good is here, right now. And so it is.
So
So
it
it is, and now it is. Even now. So stick around for this song, and we'll come back and say goodbye a little bit later.
Here we go.
In my pain, there inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me, and the shame of not choosing higher, and all the disappointing moments fade into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fades into God. No choice, a prisoner of anguish in a jail of I'm so lonely, a jail of all is lost, but the stars are shining to remind us the seed will need the darkness to change into new life, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fade. It all fades in
Yes, indeed. It's all God. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for watching and listening. And God is my natural boundary.
Yep.
Like, yes.
Yes, he is.
All right. Blessings. Thank you again. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Love to have you back.
Mhm.
All right.
Anytime.
So long, folks. Peace and blessings.